Let's begin.
It's October 12th, 2021. You know what that means. It is day 12 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 10. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Before I go any further, I'm going to need you to click subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Doing all those things helps me get my videos and channel out there to a much broader audience. But when you hit that bell, it helps you stay notified for when my videos go live, because I've been doing something new this year with the premieres. And like, it gives you like a 30-minute update, like, oh, in 30 minutes this video is coming, this particular day's video is going to be going live. So it kind of helps you stay informed of all that kind of stuff. So do all that, and please go over to I Am the Ice Lord. I'm Carly317, the 13th Wolfman, Random Horror, Indie Film Cafe, Double Shot J, yeah, so go all over to their channels and do the exact same thing. Go leave some subscribes and likes and comments and all that good stuff, because they're having a very good list this year. I'm a little behind on everyone's list as of this recording, but I'm getting ready to go catch up on everyone's last few days. So, yeah. But anyways, on to today's video. Today's is the Freaky Friday serial killer movie, Freaky, starring Vince Vaughn. And man, this movie is actually pretty fun. It really is. It takes the Freaky Friday aspect of switching bodies and puts it into a serial killer horror movie. And it's okay. It really is. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's probably maybe one or two kind of viewing kind of movie. It doesn't really hold up after anything after that. But if you need to, like, maybe watch it in like a few years' time, that'd be perfect as well. But maybe once or twice kind of viewing consecutively. But I'm going to talk about this movie's opening sequence in this movie. It is so good. I really liked Vince Vaughn as a serial killer in this movie. The way he moves, and he's kind of a big guy too. So the way he moves in this beginning sequence of this movie, when they get this, like, the body switching dagger, the way he's offing all these, like, teenagers is so good, and like the kills are really awesome. And he's very, very brutal, and it's just like, it feels like a very old school slasher flick. It looks good. It's just like, oh wow, it's just, I really love it. And I really cannot get over this beginning sequence. Like, I really, that's what I take away from this movie more than anything, is the beginning of this movie. The jokes are good. Some of the later kills are pretty good as well. There's characters in this movie like, yeah, I really hope you die. You know, like some of the jocks that are in this movie, like, they are just like, yeah, they deserve what they get in the movie because of the way they act, and like they shouldn't be acting that way for sure. But it's just like, yeah. And the actress who plays the female part of the movie, I'm like drawing a blank on her name so badly right now. But she's really good in this movie, especially like Vince Vaughn and her. I have to do dual roles. I love when they do that kind of stuff. Like, Vince Vaughn has to play a serial killer and then switch to playing a teenager, you know, that's inhabiting his body by doing jokes and the way he moves and everything. And then the actress has to go from playing a teenager to playing a Vince Vaughn serial killer, you know, the way she walks and like the subtle moments like that and stuff. Like, this movie's really bloody. There really is. There is some nice gore in this movie, like the shop teacher death. I'm trying to think what other one. The cryo tube, where you go into like relax your muscles. That one was actually pretty. I think that's like the first big kill of the movie, when they switch bodies. But it's just like, oh wow, this is actually pretty fun. The reason why I give it maybe one or two kind of viewing is because of the jokes. Like, they may only hit a couple times in a row before they kind of get stale. But if you go a long time without watching it, it may like hit you a different way. You know, it may come back and like, oh, that's really funny. But I really like everyone in this movie. I really don't hate somebody. Like, there's this really funny scene in the car between Vince Vaughn and the guy that the girl likes, and they're hitting on each other, and they end up like kind of like kissing, and it's just like oh, you kind of forget that Vince Vaughn is, there's a girl who's spirit is inhabiting this man's large body, and it's just like, oh, that is so funny. And then they do it again later in the proper bodies, but it's like, it's just hilarious. And then the mom, I think that is probably, to me, kind of the weakest point of this movie is the mom. Nothing against the actress who is playing the mom. It's just like, I don't really think we needed her to be a drunk and irresponsible to a point. Like, she making a breakfast and stuff like that, but she gets drunk and forgets to pick up her kid, and that's where the movie really starts to that's where the events unfold. Where she's the mascot for the football team, and so and she left there overnight, and the killer finds her, and she ends up getting wounded, but their bodies end up switching. That's how it happens. So it's like, overall, it's a fun movie. It really is, but like I mentioned, it's only a couple viewings consecutively, and then you'll probably need a few years to afterwards, or at least a good year in between viewings if you watch it pretty quickly back to back. So that's really about it on Freaky. It's a Blumhouse film. It's fun. It really is. I like the new take on the Freaky Friday aspect. I think it might have been done before. I don't know. But I know we got like the Freaky Friday movies. You got the Hot Chick. You got this one, Freaky. So the whole body switching thing is not new. But the whole just putting them in a horror movie element, that's fun to me. So that's really all I have to say. It's a good movie. I recommend it. I really do. I think you should at least good watch first time, because it has some good horror kills. The jokes do land most of the time. There's some moments where it's like, oh my god, that's kind of cringe, and it's just overall, I think it's a pretty well executed movie. Like, I wish, like a few days ago when I did the Lurker, I think it had a good premise and everything. It just was very poorly executed, and this movie was just kind of like well executed. You know, like that's kind of a good comparison, and especially with the Final Girls. That starts off the slasher week theme is that they know they know what they're going into. Like they have a premise. Like this is going to be kind of a satire, and this one's going to do the body switching tropes, you know, and stuff like that. And it's like it's funny, like especially when a girl inhabits like a old man's body, not like old, but just like an older man's body, and an old man is switching into a younger girl's body. It's like there's going to be like those kind of moments, you know, like it's luckily there's only kind of one moment when it comes to when the serial killer kind of takes over the actress's body. And there's just one quick moment, and the mom kind of like interrupts it, and so it's like you get like a brief like 2-second moment, and then like but it's hilarious when Vince Vaughn is doing it, because you can get away with it a little bit more with him. So, but overall, I think it's pretty fun. I'm going to get into my rating scale. 1 being run-of-the-mill horror, 2 best watched with a group, 3 more than average horror but adds nothing new to the horror genre, 4 helps move the horror genre forward, and 5 being a horror classic. This one is tough. I think this might be one of the toughest movies to rank this year, just because I don't know, because it's definitely not run-of-the-mill. It definitely isn't, because it has some really good kills. I mean, like, one of the cool kills in the movie is where they take a wine bottle, shove it down this dude's throat, and breaks it. And I'm like, oh, that is cool. Like, in a mainstream horror movie, that's pretty cool. And the shop teacher's death, that's awesome. Then it's really good if you watch it with the group, because especially it's just fun to watch with the group, and because of the jokes and like the kills itself, and the more than average horror. I know the beginning is very, like, they definitely filmed it to make it feel like an old school horror movie, and like it's really intense, and so it's like it really, the beginning definitely is more than average because it's really intense, it's really rough. It's just a love letter to the beginning is definitely a love letter to the slasher theme. Helping move the horror genre forward, I think it does a little bit, not much, but if you want to like go into that whole like taking like concepts from older concepts and putting a horror element into it, that's I would say okay. It can maybe help move that kind of forward a little bit. And then horror classic, I don't think it's there yet. I don't. Well, time will tell on this one. It's definitely not a horror classic. So if I truly had to like kind of talk about, if I had to really give this a rating that really fits it, I think it's going to be a 2. I really think it overall, I think just gather some friends and watch this movie together. Or I watched it with my fiance. She liked it. And I was like, this was like my second viewing of the movie. And I was like, you know what, I'm pretty satisfied with watching this movie never again. But like, if down the road, maybe in a few years, if it comes up and like, hey, let's watch this movie, like, I would be game to watch it. So, I think it's a 2. It really is a strong watch with your friends. So, that is all. I am the one-in-the-mill, one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can really say is thank you.